Hey everyone, welcome back to Dallas Cowboys coverage after a truly heartbreaking loss against the 49ers. I've had a week to sort of digest it. It's been it was just a tough game. I'm finally getting this video in, but just I had a week to think about it. I saw some amazing performances last weekend. If you guys watched any of those games, they were all amazing. And it's just, tough to see the Cowboys not part of this when, you know that they had the talent to be here, to be still in this, in these playoffs, but the execution wasn't there, the coaching wasn't great. There's a lot I want to talk about, and, we'll talk about some future stuff too. We'll see. I'll probably do another video to address all the new rumors around coaching and free agency and later on even the draft. So for now though, I just kind of want to get into it. Obviously we all wanted 6, and we're not gonna get that 6th ring this year. It's gonna be another, maybe next year, and it's just really tough. Just a promising season. There were times where the Cowboys were viewed as one of the top teams in the league, and just for it to come down to a first round exit, it's just all too familiar, and just honestly truly disappointing for the Cowboys team as well as the organization and all its fans. So just want to start with the coaching. Kellen Moore I want to start with, because we a lot of people thought maybe he'd be the next coach and the next head coach, but even after a good start to the season, him and the offense just really struggled. There's new reports he probably won't be getting a head coaching job, which does not surprise me. I like Kellen Moore, and I really was thinking that he could kind of be that next guy, but it just was rough. Really, the entire second half of the season, the offense just wasn't clicking. We kept saying, they're gonna get it, and they never did. And at that point, it's players, but I think that really falls on coaching. Both Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy, especially on that offensive side of the ball. We saw what Dan Quinn did with the defense, how well they performed, and I just think that, what the offense, underachieved was truly a disappointment. And there's really just no excuse at this point. The offense has the weapons, one of the top offenses in the league, but they just could not get it done when it mattered. And that was a big factor in this playoff game. Dak Prescott didn't have his best game, wasn't his worst, but just it wasn't good enough. And, that was the story of this game, was not good enough. No one was. The run game, non-existent. Pollard had like 5 or 6 touches. How does that happen? Zeke, I credit to him. He's a warrior playing through now we know a partially torn PCL. But coaching, why are you having an injured player out there over Tony Pollard, who's been excellent this season? It just makes no sense, and it's just horrible. And it's definitely just a disappointment by the coaching staff, and really just a head scratcher of what they were thinking. For the entire time he's been hurt, you have another back. It's not like he's your only option, and I appreciate him being out there playing. Credit to him, but the offense just was not clicking, and the coaches have to see that there's an issue, and they gotta step in and make a change, and it just didn't happen all year, or all second half of the year, should I say. So continuing, the wide receivers, you gotta get, Michael Irvin mentioned, you gotta get it in the hands of your playmakers. CeeDee Lamb had 2 catches for 17 yards, something like that. I don't know the exact stats, but it's just how does that happen? We've talked about how he could be almost a Deebo Samuel type of player for the Cowboys, but he's not integrated like he should. Amari Cooper had an okay game, but your main 2 guys were Dalton Schultz and Cedric Wilson, and not that nothing against them, but you gotta get it in the hands of your playmakers. You're paying these guys. You're drafting these guys early for a reason. Dalton Schultz and Cedric Wilson are key role players, and Dalton Schultz is a player I really hope we get back next year. But eventually, you gotta go to your superstar. I mean, that's how you win games. I saw the Rams-Bucks in divisional round. Cooper Kupp won that game for the Los Angeles Rams. He stepped up when it mattered, and he won that game. The Bucks almost came back. Tom Brady, he stepped up when it mattered. No one on this offense stepped up. The offensive line had a historically bad week. Zach Martin and Tyron Smith, some of their worst games in years. Connor Williams, more penalties. The offensive line was horrible. The entire offense just could not get it done. And the Cowboys lost that game in part because of it. Next thing is penalties. 14 penalties? I mean, how does that happen in a playoff game? The Cowboys are the most penalized team in all of football, and nothing got fixed. Again, that's a coaching thing, as well as a player execution. How do you allow that to happen? That game, again, another big factor was penalties. 5, 6, 7 less penalties, maybe you win that game. And then some of them were just terrible. I mean, Randy Gregory wrestling down an offensive lineman. You had a chance to get the ball back with reasonable time, and you do that. And then it comes down to a QB sneak that we'll talk about later. It just was horrible. Special teams was actually okay. Greg looked fine. We all thought that was going to be the issue, but nope. The defense, again, I don't have issues with the defense. It wasn't their best game, and discipline, I think, was the main issue. But you did not lose that game because of your defense, and that can be said for, I think, almost every loss this year. The defense did good enough. They did their role. They did their part. Obviously you want to see the takeaways, the big plays, and those are key things. But this game was not lost because of the defense. The defense did enough. They weren't elite. They didn't do what we know they're capable of doing, but they did enough to win that game. But the offense did not do their part. I mean, straight up, it just was a disappointing effort, and just really, really sad that the Cowboys, just have to go out this way. A 49ers team who is very good. We saw them knock off the Packers this week. No, nothing to take away from them, but as I've heard a lot of people say, the Cowboys were not beat in that game. I mean, they lost that game. They were beat too, but they lost the game. It wasn't that the 49ers team was superior to them. It wasn't because they were, so much better. They were just, the Cowboys were out-coached and they lost the game. And it's because of their efforts. It's not that they had some, it wasn't the 49ers that dominated that game. It was the Cowboys that repeatedly shot themselves in the foot and took away their own opportunities to really, really, get in that game and make an impact. And that's an unfortunate reality of that game, that they didn't just lose, they failed, and they failed themselves, unfortunately. And that's just really the sad truth of what happened in that game. And, continuing that QB sneak, I don't hate the play, but it was just terribly executed. You got to either go down quicker, you got to, find the ref. It's just a horrible, horrible way to see the season end, especially with that small glimmer of hope that the Cowboys might have won that game. And obviously there's a lot of frustration with officials. We saw Dak with his comments. He got fined and, whatever. It's just kind of a heat of the moment kind of thing. Can't put too much, you can't hate on him too much for that. That's just, just a tough loss, and, just comment he didn't really mean. But that's something I want to talk about. The officiating was not that bad. You did not lose that game because of the officiating. It was one of the best officiating jobs, I think, that we've seen for the Cowboys. The Cowboys have been robbed so many times this year. And I'm not saying it was perfect. I'm not saying the referee should have ran into Dak's back. There could have been better execution there. But again, you shouldn't have been in that situation. You didn't lose that game because of the officiating. You lost the game because of your lack of execution. It was definitely an issue all season long. But in this game, it's just not why you lost. And, You can blame the refs all you want, but that's not why you lost. Everyone has to deal with the refs, and it's just, it's part of the game. Unfortunately, that some of these missed calls are just part of the game now, but that can't be your excuse. I mean, maybe in the regular season, maybe some close games, but in the playoffs, that can't be a factor. You can't put yourself in the position to where one not perfect call is going to make you lose the game. That's just not putting yourself in a situation to win. So, there's a lot more I could digest on that game. Normally I'll go player by player. I'm not going to do that exactly, but it's just a really disappointing performance by the whole team. I've had some time to think about it, like I said, but it's not feeling any better. I've kind of accepted it at this point, but I want to say, and I will say, I'm a Cowboys fan all the way for life. I'll be back every single year, no matter how bad it looks. And the Cowboys will bounce back next year. I'm not ready to talk about next year yet, but I'm with this team all the way. But unfortunately, again, they let down their fans, and they let down themselves in this game, and unfortunately, that's how the season has to end. So I just wanted to thank you guys for watching these videos all season. Unfortunately, we can't end on a positive note, but like we wanted to, but just wanted to, bring some positivity, and just, this is my first year doing this. I still have a lot of things to work out myself, a lot of improvements I can still make, but, just really thankful for this first year of videos. Got to do at least one every week, and I'm going to continue to keep them up through the off season. Like I said, we'll talk about free agency, the draft, the coaching carousel. I'm going to probably do a separate video about the Sean Payton news we heard about today, about him stepping down from the Saints head coaching role. So stay tuned for that in a later video. I'll break all that down. And for now, if you want to let me know, would you want Sean Payton on the Cowboys? It's not that easy. There's a lot of factors involved, but if you can have him, do you want him? Who do you want to be head coach next year? Is it Sean Payton? Is it Dan Quinn? Should you want Mike McCarthy, Kellen, or Brian Flores? There's a lot of options. So let me know in the comments. And again, just back to what I was saying. It's been a great year. I'm gonna continue the videos, and unfortunately, not the end we wanted for the Cowboys, but we'll be back. I'll be back, and thanks again just for the support. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.